Hello there, beautiful souls. Welcome to the Holy Guardian Angel channel. Please subscribe and click on the bell to be informed for new content. I hope that you will like the video. The Orion Civilization. The ancients considered Orion as one of the most prominent constellations in the sky. While the name Orion is steeped in Greek mythology, many cultures have been influenced by the story of this constellation. Orion has also associated with an Egyptian pharaoh of the Fifth Dynasty named Íjász. In Hungary, Orion is known as magic, archer, Íjász, or Scyther, Kaszás. Scandinavians refer to Orion's belt as Frigg's Distaff. The Orion constellation is one of the most brilliant. In legend, it represents a mighty hunter brought down by his own pride. He boasts he could slay all wild animals, but he was killed by a scorpion. The constellation's most celebrated feature is the huge nebula 1,500 light-years away that lies within the hunter's sword. Amongst the hundreds of stars in the system are two supergiants, Betelgeuse and Rigel, 430 and 770 light-years away, respectively. According to Light Network, there are three major players in the galaxy. 1. The Intergalactic Confederation of different star systems throughout the galaxy. 2. The Reptoid Federation, a conglomeration of many reptoid species. 3. The Orion Empire, ruled by one leader. Orion is the place where two very different aspects of consciousness diving very deeply in the feminine and the masculine energies come together in order to integrate to each other. In order for this integration to be successful, the extreme aspects of the feminine and masculine was necessary to be experienced. Thus we can distinguish the feminine extreme aspect as more emotional, more spiritual, prioritizing the service to others with the cost of suppressing the individual sense of purpose for the whole. This attitude was adopted in the communities from Lyra that were more into the feminine polarity. On the other hand, there were communities more into the masculine polarity, that their attitude was more service to self. They believed that individuality was the key and the right path for them, so they strived to be acknowledged by others, to be heard as individuals, to be successful having this very strong sense of individual self. With time passing, this attitude became so polarized that they began to suppress emotions, gathering all of their energy in their mind. Both of these spiritual paths can lead to darkness and negativity, and there were points in the Orion history that negativity did dominate their civilization, just as it is the dominant polarity here on Earth. A total imbalanced masculine and feminine energy was experienced by these groups. These were the seeds that characterize Orion: deep polarity and deep difference. We must be cautious and not pursue the path of service to others as the positive path, and the path of service to self as the negative path. This could not be further from the truth. It was due to the roots in the Lyran and vegan conflict that first brought the karma of negativity into the Orion civilization. There were members of the Orion civilization which expressed the law of one with the distortions towards negativity in both spiritual paths of service to self and service to others. There were some which you would call dominators and others which you would see as victims. The dominators were distorted toward service to self negatively, and the victims were distorted toward service to others negatively. The common belief was that, in order to survive, one must relinquish their individualization, in order to support the whole. There were others that believed in order to survive, all things needed to be brought under the most strict control, with only the spiritually elite at the top extracting power from the masses at the bottom. In essence, both sides were denying the one creator both in others and themselves. Regardless of the spiritual and social conflicts, the Orion civilization still managed to progress greatly along the lines of technological advancement. This advancement, like the one in Earth, created great negativity in the Orion civilization. The dominators used advanced technology to manipulate, and control society on a physical, emotional and spiritual levels. They had gotten to the point where the civilization was capable of controlling the astral bodies of the recently deceased, solidifying their control over the social memory consciousness. This would be the point that many of you have memories from. The negativity grew to epic proportions to the point where souls desired to leave the Orion group's incarnation cycle, but were unable to due to the amount of control the Orion Empire had over its citizens. Some found windows in interdimensional travel which would offer very few an escape route out of the Orion group. The emerging civilization on Earth at this time offered these souls the opportunity to escape the Orion Empire's grasp and enter into the incarnation cycle on Earth. The amnesia that occurred during incarnation of Earth beings would allow the newly incarnated consciousness to forget their roots. At this point the soul would be caught in the collective consciousness of Earth, and their memories were buried in the depths of the unconscious mind. This caused the karma of Orion to spread to Earth. The people escaping from the tyranny of Orion brought those same energetic patterns to Earth, and created similar conditions which we see to this day, with the elite on the top of the spiritual hierarchy, and the victims at the bottom. These original immigrants have had a great deal of influence on the genetics, history, and culture of humanity. Although the experience of the imbalanced energies was supposed to happen, because was needed, in order to be learned the integration of the opposites, the balance of the poles. The temporary separation of individualization only serves you to know the one creator more intimately, when one reaches the higher octaves of existence. When you truly serve yourself, you serve the whole. When someone is connected to his heart, is connected to his divine purpose, and his purpose is directly connected to the collective. We serve the whole through our individual purpose. If you deny your purpose and try to keep everybody happy, then you are not serving the whole. The society will suffer. The Orion Starseeds. Many of the immigrant starseeds from tens of thousands of years ago who fled the Orion group have fallen from 4th density to 3rd, while those newly arrived starseeds will be of 4th density or higher. Fallen 3rd density beings would benefit from finding their galactic origins, as this self-knowledge would assist in healing karma at the conscious level, and again reach the 4th octave of being. 4th density beings also benefit from this information by activating the remembrance of their origins. These memories can be awakened via meditation, channeling, and astral travel. 4th density beings should already be proficient in these abilities, but have forgotten how to use them, or have even forgotten that they had the abilities in the first place. 4th density starseeds will also have extra chakras. At least one of these chakras will be on their home planet. By being consciously aware of your other chakras, you can learn to work with new energies which will help you to reawaken your psychic powers, assisting you with practical matters in your daily life. The 3rd and 4th density beings originating from the Orion group will have deep feelings of alienation from others around. You will feel different and special. Some may accuse you of being selfish and eccentric, though you will feel that these accusations come from misunderstandings. If you were born into a traditional religious family, you may feel that there is some degree of intellectual bankruptcy around the views which the people around you hold. You may continue following these belief systems until later in life, but are prone to question them. You may have feelings of guilt for questioning these belief systems. The Orion group is defined by the philosophy of service to self. The positive aspect of this can be seen in individuals who have good self-confidence, self-love, and teach others of self-empowerment through finding their own spiritual truth. Orion Starseeds do not care much for the group consciousness and manifest opportunities for disconnection of the collective mentality. They see others that follow the group consciousness of being sheepish and simply following the pack. You may be questioning beliefs of the larger group and seek to find a truth which is more in line with your own soul. Sometimes the struggle is so great that this causes the Orion consciousness within you to express the service to self in a negative way of taking from others to empower the self. Sometimes you feel that people need to be controlled for their own benefit. This is a pitfall which should be avoided. With some guidance you will know the true power of your own being and know that you do not need to take from others, because you have the potential to create everything from your own sources of intelligent infinity. For Orion Starseeds, focusing on yourself will bring you the greatest benefit. Learn to empower yourself and teach others by example. Learn self-control and seek esoteric knowledge which will help you gain power over your body and mind to enhance psychic ability. You may have a disposition to controlling and manipulating others to gain benefit for yourself, but with time and experience you will learn that this is karma from our history's past and produces negative effects. Positive results cannot be accomplished through negativity. The genotype of starseeds from the Orion group consciousness are usually expressed by the manifesting of a strong and healthy physical body. You will most likely have an abundance of health and energy. Your eyes and hair may be darker than expected from your family's genetic lineage. Orion starseeds generally have white to olive skin and choose to incarnate in societies which will offer them opportunities to gain greater understanding of internal power. As a result, the physical incarnation of Orion group entities do not generally experience the same negative health effects from the Earth sphere. Starseeds from Orion have strong characters, personalities, and beliefs. They are often identified by their questions, as they always have strong zeal to know the reasons and the hidden meanings. Because of this, they often examine the people and the situations, which leads to get the feeling of inspection for the others. The reason is their main level of focus will be in mind. They expect that their point of view should be respected from the others. It is very much essential for them to learn to overcome this, as everyone do have their own opinions. As their main focus will be on mind level, before they believe in something, they always need the things to be proved. They always like to be Mr. Perfect, and expect the same from the others. It may be like a personal criticism for those who are not habituated to them. They should overcome from this. They cannot tolerate and accept imbalance in their self or in others. They always try to correct it, as they may get unhealthy or mentally ill because of this. They will be at their best in the balanced flow of energy and beauty. Their reactions to the emotional events will be intellectual, as it is very much important for them to know the reason and understand before they accept anything. But it does not mean that they do not care for the others. So it is very much important for the constructive communication with the Orions. Otherwise there is a chance that they suppress their emotions. Sufficient privacy is required for them to rejuvenate and balance the self. They love to be humoristic and also can turn up critically all of a sudden. Thank you for watching. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Join our spiritual community by clicking the subscribe button. If you found value on this video, please share it. Have a magnificent rest of the day.